In this episode, we're going to be talking all about rhubarb. Rhubarb is one of those vegetables you either love or hate, but it's one of the staple vegetables that you should be growing in an allotment, and that's coming right up after this. So as I just said, you either love it or hate it. Now, my family absolutely loves things like rhubarb crumble and rhubarb pies and things like that. It's one of those vegetables that I think every allotment should have. Now, going back into the sort of late 50s, 60s and 70s, you would see this all over the place. It was a staple on most allotments. Now, up until we moved to this site, we had rhubarb on our plots and grown it for years and years and years. And when Wayne was small, we had a photo taken of him holding up 2 stems of rhubarb, and they were nearly the length of him, and the leaves could have buried him. When we moved to this site, we never bothered bring that rhubarb with us, mainly because I was trying to move everything. It was in season at the time. I didn't want to pull it up and what have you, and I always meant to bring it later on that year, but as it happened, the plot was given on to somebody else, and I never got around to moving it. Well, today we had our AGM, and while I was there, I asked the current owner of the plot if he'd mind if I take some sort of cuttings off that rhubarb. Now, the plant itself was massive, as you've seen earlier on, but rhubarb suffers if you don't cut it down. Okay, it can sort of become not very good at producing its rhubarb leaves and stems, which is what we all prize. So what I did was I took a chunk of that rhubarb and we cut it down into sections like this. So we've got 1, 2, 3 pieces here that'll go. We've cut some other ones off it, and as you can see, this is the stem here. There's a bit extra stem there, but you literally get a spade and cut right through that stem. So we've even got something like this that's got a couple of leaves and just a little bit of stem, but it will all grow. So what I've done behind me, I have dug this little bed. Now, this area had the green manure in, and what I want to do is show you what it's like and why we grow the green manure, because when you're growing green manure, it actually brings up all of the worms to the surface, because they will come up because they've got food to eat. The ground is protected through the winter because the rain can't compact it down, but more importantly, like I said, it brings those worms into the ground. So what we're going to do here now, we're going to feed this area, and then we're going to plant these rhubarb crowns. Now, what I'm using to feed are these 2 products here. This is 6X chicken manure pellets. Okay, with rhubarb you need to give them loads and loads of nitrogen because they're a leafy crop. Okay, so they really like the nitrogen. So we're going to give them 6X pellets, and I'm just going to have a look on the back to see if it tells us on here what the nitrogen ratio is. It's 5:3:2, so the nitrogen on it is 5%, so that's quite a good one. But I'm also going to add some of this. Now, we've used this before, Growganics. It's also another product made by Vitax. I haven't been able to find an online supplier for it at the moment, guys, but the 6X is available on our website. Okay, but the Growganics, I'm still looking for a supplier. We get this from our allotment shop. But the good thing about the Growganics is it's a complete food. So no other fertilizers are needed, but it's really good for helping to break down clays and things like that. And this whole bag here will do up to 250 square yards. Okay, so that's 210 square meters. Now that's at lawn rates, so you're just literally just sprinkling it on a little bit. Now on the back of it, again, it's got all of these things on here. So nitrogen for it, 3%, phosphorus, 2.5%, potassium, 2%, and the good thing about this product is it's organic, so we can add as much as we like with it, but obviously don't overfeed. I use it quite a lot on all the leafy stuff, so we're going to add both of these in, and I'm also going to add a touch of this, which is sulfate of potash. Now, sulfate of potash is used for flowering plants, and some of you may say, well, hang on, that'll help to sort of create these to flower. It won't. What it will do is help to build out those stems if you want really good rhubarb stems to come up. So we're going to add just a little bit of that as well. So we just need to get on with it now. Trusty Leatherman. Okay. This is what Growganics looks like, guys. It's just like compost, okay, but it's very, very high in nutrients, okay. So and it's quite smelly as well, but it's good stuff. Now we're feeding mainly because this is one of those perennial crops, and even though we've had green manures down here, we would like to be able to get these off to a good start because they've been uprooted and hacked to pieces. We won't get much of a crop off them this year, but next year we'll have a really good crop off them again. So there we are. So that's the Growganic, and the next thing we need is a 6X. Not putting huge amounts down, guys, just a sprinkling over the top, and we'll be done. And we'll do the same. That's enough 6X in there, because that stuff's quite strong anyway. And we're now going to do a little sprinkling of the potash. There we are. So that's all the food we're going to put in there, and we now just need to fork it in. Now we're due some rain this afternoon, so that's going to help with driving down these fertilisers into the ground for us. You can still see some of the green manures still haven't broken down fully yet, but that's okay, because as they do, because we used legumes as a green manure, which was hairy vetch and field beans, those plants sort of fix nitrogen on nodules onto their root systems. So that will also put nitrogen into this ground here for these plants over the next few months. There we go. Here you can see where I've made the cuts on these. I'm just checking there is nothing else in here, no fern roots or anything like that, 'cause as you remember, we suffered with fern at the old plot, and I don't want to transfer that to this plot, but they look nice and clean, so that's ready to go in. Now when I put them in, I'm setting them away because obviously this plant could get quite big. And you don't want to bury the top of them, but you just want to sit them just in the ground like that. Now once we've done this, one of the next tasks we will do is we will mulch this area using some well rotted bark. Oh, that's a big one. Like I said, these probably won't come to a lot this year, but whatever they do is a bonus. Lots and lots of worms in here, guys. Okay, I'm going to put them two together. That one can go there, and these three pieces can come in by here because they're all small. Pull our leaf off because it's in my way. There we are. One more. There we are. That's those planted, guys. So it's just one thing left to do now, and that is to mulch. And that's to mulch now with some bark chip there and let them establish themselves. They've got plenty of feed to get going on with for this year, and the good thing is they can crack on and get going now, ready so that we can have a great crop next year. I won't pull, even if they do come up with a crop this year, I won't pull that. I'll let all those leaves put some efforts back into the roots so they can send them roots down. And this is where our rhubarb will be from now on. So we're pretty much covering most things now, guys, and we'll have a plot tour very shortly. So that's these mulched now, guys. Now going on through the year, we're going to let the leaves grow on these and they will die back naturally. We're not going to pick any rhubarb on these. and that will help to feed the root. This mulch is already partly rotted, so that will also go to help towards feeding the ground here as well. Obviously we still got all the green manure underneath it, but what we will do looking at the end of this year is we will give them a feed to help that root system, and we'll put a feed in there, something similar to bone meal or something like that, which is a more of a root food, and that will help then to feed those roots throughout the winter. Obviously rhubarb sends their roots right down anyway. There's a lot of nutrition in this ground now, so they'll be perfect. So that's it for the rhubarb, guys. There's not a lot more else I can say about it. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because that really helps us out. Give us a thumbs up on this video and share it with all your friends, because sharing is caring. And if you haven't already, get across to our shop and have a look over there as well. There's lots of products. Eventually I will find somewhere that we can link in the Growganics for you guys, but for the time being it's not on our shop, but the 6X pellets are. I know a lot of you have been asking for that. So that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.